What if I told you that your website is costing you $50,000 a month? Not in hosting fees and not in maintenance and not in design costs, but in lost revenue. Qualified prospects, people who need what you sell, who are ready to buy, are landing on your website and leaving without contacting you every single day. So today I'm going to show you exactly where that money is going and how to get it back. So I'm Rob Riggs with Code Conspirators, and this is why your website is leaking leads, or how your website is leaking leads. So let's do some math, and I promise this won't hurt. The average professional service website converts at 2 to 3%. So that means that 97 to 98% of visitors leave without taking any action. So think about that for a sec. You spend money driving traffic. People actually show up and then they just leave. So let's say you get 1,000 visitors in a month, and at 2% conversion rate, that's 20 leads. But what if your conversion rate was 8% instead? Same traffic, 1,000 visitors, and now you're getting 80 leads. That's 60 additional leads every month. And for most professional services, law firms, medical practices, financial advisors, a single client is worth thousands of dollars, and sometimes tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. So if your average client is worth $5K, those 60 leads represent $300,000 in potential revenue every month. Even if you only close 20% of those leads, that's still $60,000 a month you're leaving on the table. The difference between 2% and 8% conversion is not a rounding error. It's the difference between struggling and scaling. And most businesses have no idea that this is even happening. So there are 7 places your website leaks leads. So let's go through each one. So leak number 1 is first impressions. So you have 3 seconds. That's how long visitors give you before deciding whether to stay or whether to leave. And in those 3 seconds, they're asking one question: am I in the right place? If your headline is about you instead of them, if your design looks dated, if they can't immediately understand what it is that you do and who you help, they're gone. And most professional service websites fail this one test. They lead with credentials instead of outcomes. Welcome to Smith & Associates, founded in 1995. We provide comprehensive legal services. Great, but nobody cares. They use jargon instead of clarity. They assume visitors will dig for information instead of just making it obvious. So the leak is that visitors bounce before they even start reading. So we had a client, a personal injury attorney, great lawyer. His headline said, experienced personal injury attorneys since 1995. We changed it to injured, get the compensation that you deserve, free consultation. Same attorney, different headline, and the conversion rate went up 40% in the first week. So leak number 2 is trust signals. Prospects don't trust you, not yet. They've been burned before, and they're skeptical, and they assume that everyone is overselling. And so your job is to make trust inevitable. That means reviews, lots of them, and not just a testimonials page that nobody visits, but social proof scattered throughout the site strategically on service pages, near calls to action in the header. It means specificity. Great service, highly recommend, is worthless, but increased our revenue 47% in 6 months. Now that's credibility. It means real photos, not stock images, real names, not initials. We worked with a dermatology practice, and when we met them, they had maybe 30 reviews scattered across Google and Facebook and Yelp. They were good reviews, but they were not enough, and so we built a review generation system. Within a year, they had over 1,600 verified 5-star Google reviews. 1,600, that's not luck, that's a system. And it became a competitive moat that nobody else could touch. So the leak, prospects don't believe you, so they don't contact you. Leak number 3 is conversion mechanics. So your website has one call to action, it's contact us. And that's not a strategy, that's laziness. So not everyone is ready to contact you just yet. So some want to learn more first, and some want to download something, and some want to call but not fill out a form, and some want a form, and some prefer chat. And one call to action means there's one chance to reach out. One chance means you lose everyone who isn't ready for that exact action at that exact time. And that form, if it has more than 4 fields, you're killing conversions. Every additional field reduces completion rates by roughly 10%. So we audited a law firm's website last month. Their contact form had 12 fields. So name, email, phone, address, type of case, description of injury, how did you hear about us, best time to call, preferred method of contact, the date of the incident, have you contacted any other attorneys, and anything else we should know. And you know what happened? People started filling it out and they gave up halfway through. And we cut that form to 3 fields, name and email and phone optional, brief description, that's it. Their conversion rate on that form went up 68%. The leak, prospects want to engage, but you've only given them one path, and it's not the path that naturally reaches out to them. Leak 4 is content and copy, and your website copy is written for you and not for them, and it talks about your process and your credentials and your history, and founded in 2003, we are the leading provider of whatever service, and nobody cares. Prospects care about themselves, not you, their problems, their outcomes, their fears, and if your web copy doesn't speak to their situation in the first sentence, they're already scrolling. And if it's hard to read, if there are long paragraphs, if there are complex sentences, industry jargon, they're already gone. So here's a test. Run your homepage copy through the Hemingway app. It's free, and if it's above an 8th grade reading level, you're making it too complex for your primary client. Before you say, but our clients are sophisticated, so what? Smart people prefer simple writing too, always. Warren Buffett's annual shareholder letters are written at a 9th grade reading level, right? So he's explaining complex financial concepts to some of the smartest investors in the world, and he keeps it simple. And you should too. The leak, prospects don't see themselves in your copy, and so they don't see you as the solution. Leak number 5 is invisible infrastructure. And this is the stuff that nobody sees until it breaks. So no Facebook pixel, you are paying for traffic twice because you can't retarget visitors who didn't convert the first time. No event tracking, you don't know what's working because you're not measuring what matters. No schema markup, then Google doesn't understand your content, and so you're losing search visibility. The infrastructure is invisible to the naked eye, but it's not invisible to results. So we had a client spending $3,000 a month on Google ads, and traffic was coming, leads were not. And so we looked under the hood, and there was no pixel, there was no call tracking, there was no event tracking, and they literally didn't know which ads were working and which were not. And we installed proper tracking. Within 30 days, we identified that 70% of their budget was going to keywords that never converted. So we reallocated that budget. Cost per lead dropped 52%, the same total spend. And the leak, you can't optimize what you can't measure, and you're probably not measuring anything useful. Leak number 6 is speed and security. So your website loads in 5 seconds, but your competitors loads in 2. So guess who wins? Every second of load time increases bounce rate. So at 3 seconds, you've lost a third of visitors. At 5 seconds, you've lost half. And if you don't have HTTPS, that little padlock in the browser, then Google is actively burying you. Plus visitors see not secure, and they wonder if they can trust you with their information. So we test this regularly. We tested this with a new client last month, and the client's site was loading in 7 seconds on mobile. 7 seconds. So we compressed images, we enabled caching, we implemented a content distribution network. We got that down to under 3 seconds. The bounce rate dropped 35%. Conversion rate went up 22%. It's the same website, just faster. So the leak, prospects leave you before your page finishes loading. Legal and accessibility. So if you don't have a privacy policy, that's a legal liability. If you don't have a cookie consent, that's a compliance violation in multiple jurisdictions. Website inaccessible to people with disabilities, that's both an ADA lawsuit risk and 15% of the population you are excluding from even doing business with you. So these aren't just checkboxes, right? They're trust signals, they're legal protection, they are basic professionalism. So we worked with a B2B travel management company, enterprise clients. They were getting asked about accessibility compliance during sales calls, and they didn't have a good answer. And so we implemented full WCAG 2.1 compliance, color contrast, alt text, keyboard navigation, screen reader compatibility. And within 6 months, they closed 2 major enterprise deals specifically because they could answer that question. They could prove accessibility compliance. Competitors couldn't. And the leak, you're creating risk and excluding prospects without even knowing it. So here's what makes this painful. These leaks compound. It's not like you have one leak and the rest is fine. Most websites have 3, 4, 5 of these problems simultaneously, and the first impressions fail, and so the people bounce before seeing your trust signals. Trust signals are weak, and so they don't click your call to action. Your call to action is buried, so even interested prospects give up. The form is too long, so motivated leads abandon it before they finish it. Each leak makes the next one worse. We had a financial advisory firm come to us, and they said, we need more traffic. And we looked at their analytics, and they were getting 2,000 visitors a month. And that's not bad, you can work with that, but they were converting at 1.8%. We told them, you don't need more traffic. You need to stop wasting the traffic that you already are getting. So we fixed 6 of the 7 leaks I just showed you, and conversion rate went from 1.8% to 7.2% in 90 days. It's the same traffic, but 4 times the leads. And then and only then did we start driving more traffic, because now it was actually worth driving. And that's why fixing one thing doesn't really move the needle. You need to fix the foundation, all of it. So the fix isn't complicated, it's just systematic. And so we call it the convert phase of the C4 framework. Convert is all about your foundation. It's your website. It's the points of conversion where your clients are going to convert. That's your website. It's your landing pages. Your trust signals, your website load speed, your compliance, and you audit every factor. You identify the leaks and you fix them in the order of priority. And then and only then do you worry about traffic, because driving traffic to a leaky website is just filling a bucket with a big hole in the bottom. So I put together a complete diagnostic that walks you through every convert factor. It's called How Your Mediocre Competitors Are Stealing Your Best Prospects. And inside you'll find the self-assessment to score your own website, real case studies showing what happens when you fix this stuff, a 90-day action plan to plug the leaks, and 3 embedded videos that go even deeper than this one. So the link is in the description. It's free. There's no credit card. There's no sales call required. And if your website is leaking $50K a month, and statistically it probably is, then this guide will show you exactly where. You can download it now, find your leaks, plug them. And before we go, let me ask this. If you knew your website was converting at 2% instead of at 8%, would you fix it? Of course you would. So why haven't you checked? So most business owners don't know their conversion rate. They don't know what's broken. They just know that marketing really isn't working and they're not sure why. The diagnostic will tell you why. And if you want us to do the analysis for you, if you want a professional audit with a competitor comparison and a custom action plan, you can request that too. It's free. We call it the Market Intel Report, and the link is also in the description for that. And I'm Rob Riggs with Code Conspirators, and I appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.